Los Angeles, January 15, 1947. A cold winter morning. A young mother walks along South Norton Avenue, her child's small hand in hers. The city is quiet, until something catches her eye in an empty lot. At first, she thinks it's a mannequin, pale, perfectly still, divided in half. But as she steps closer, horror floods her face, and it's not a mannequin, it's a woman. That discovery would go on to become one of Hollywood's darkest, most haunting mysteries, the murder of Elizabeth Short, better known to the world as the Black Dahlia. Elizabeth was just 22, a hopeful dreamer who came to Los Angeles chasing fame like so many others. She wanted to be an actress, to see her name in lights. But instead, her name would become synonymous with one of the most brutal and disturbing murders in American history. Police rushed to the scene that morning, and what they found shocked even the most seasoned detectives. Elizabeth's body had been carefully posed, her face mutilated from ear to ear in what's known as the Glasgow smile. Her body was drained of blood, scrubbed clean, and severed at the waist with surgical precision. Whoever did this wasn't just a killer. They were methodical, intelligent, and terrifyingly calm. Within hours, the press descended on the crime scene. Reporters and photographers swarmed the area, their cameras flashing as rumors spread like wildfire. The Los Angeles Examiner splashed the story across the front page, dubbing her the Black Dahlia, inspired by her black hair, her love for dark clothing, and a recently released noir film titled The Blue Dahlia. Soon, Elizabeth Short became more than a murder victim. She became an obsession. But before she was a headline, Elizabeth was a real person. Born in 1924 in Boston, Massachusetts. Her father had abandoned the family when she was a child, faking his own death in a supposed bridge accident. The emotional wound of that betrayal followed Elizabeth all her life. In her late teens, she drifted between cities, working as a waitress, writing letters to men in the military, always hoping for something bigger. When she finally arrived in Los Angeles, she believed her break was coming. But Hollywood was cruel to dreamers like her. She stayed in cheap hotels, borrowed clothes, and made friends easily. But she was also secretive, sometimes mysterious. People described her as charming, yet hard to truly know. To some, she was an innocent girl trying to make it big. To others, she lived a double life, surrounded by shady characters and false promises. After her murder, detectives combed through every lead: boyfriends, acquaintances, jealous lovers, and even high-profile Hollywood figures. Everyone was a suspect. The LAPD questioned hundreds of people, and as the media frenzy grew, so did the lies, rumors, and sensational stories. Newspapers painted Elizabeth as everything from a prostitute to a Hollywood temptress, labels that sold papers but buried the truth deeper in shadows. And then came the letters. Days after the murder, the Los Angeles Examiner received a chilling package. Inside were Elizabeth's personal belongings: her birth certificate, business cards, photos, and an address book, all neatly cleaned and mailed in a package marked The Black Dahlia Avenger. The handwriting was precise, almost taunting. The sender promised more clues to come. Detectives thought they were closing in on the killer. But just as suddenly as the letters began, they stopped. No fingerprints, no witnesses, no definitive trail. The City of Angels had turned into a city of whispers. Everyone had a theory, but no one had answers. And in the midst of it all, the legend of the Black Dahlia began to grow, feeding on fear, fascination, and Hollywood's dark allure. In the weeks following Elizabeth Short's death, Los Angeles was a city consumed by fear and curiosity. Every newspaper headline screamed new theories. Every man who had ever known Elizabeth was interrogated. Detectives from the LAPD's homicide division worked day and night, piecing together fragments of her last days. But the truth always seemed to slip through their fingers. The case became a circus. The media couldn't get enough. Reporters bribed officers, broke into evidence rooms, and even made up quotes to keep the story alive. The public was obsessed. Who could do something so monstrous? And why? Dozens of men came forward claiming to be the killer, but most were hoaxers, desperate for attention. Others were simply disturbed individuals fascinated by the horror of it all. Still, among the sea of false leads, a few names stood out. One of the most suspicious was Dr. George Hodel, a wealthy and eccentric physician with connections to Hollywood's elite. He was known for his intelligence, his arrogance, and his dark interests. Hodell's own son, decades later, would accuse him of being the Black Dahlia killer after discovering disturbing evidence among his father's belongings, including photos that looked eerily like Elizabeth Short. At the time, police had secretly bugged Hodell's home. The recordings captured him saying cryptic and horrifying things like, "Supposing I did kill the Black Dahlia, they can't prove it now." But despite that chilling statement, there was not enough evidence to charge him. He fled the country shortly after the investigation closed. There were other suspects too, actors, nightclub owners, even police officers. But every time detectives thought they were close, the trail went cold. It was as if the city itself was protecting the killer. Some theorists believe Elizabeth's murder was linked to the dark side of Hollywood, secret parties, hidden scandals, and powerful men who could make evidence disappear. Others say the surgical precision of her wounds points to a doctor or someone with medical training. There were even whispers of a ritualistic killing, or that she was used as a pawn in some twisted experiment. Whatever the truth was, it was buried under decades of corruption, fear, and silence. As years passed, the case became a ghost story, one that haunted Los Angeles. The empty lot where her body was found turned into a kind of cursed landmark, a reminder of Hollywood's shadowed past. Filmmakers, writers, and musicians kept her story alive, from novels to noir films, turning Elizabeth Short into a tragic symbol of innocence, destroyed by fame's darker side. But behind all the mystery and legend, there was still a young woman whose life was stolen too soon. Elizabeth wasn't a movie star, a femme fatale, or a myth. She was a daughter, a friend, and a dreamer who wanted more from life than the small-town world she came from. And maybe that's why her story still captivates us, because beneath the glamour and the horror lies a truth we all recognize, the dangerous hunger for beauty, fame, and belonging in a world that can be merciless to those who dream too big. Even now, more than 70 years later, the Black Dahlia case remains officially unsolved. Files sit in dusty cabinets, evidence has gone missing, and witnesses are long gone. Yet every few years, someone new steps forward, claiming to have uncovered the truth, a retired detective, a relative, a writer, each one convinced they've solved the mystery. But no matter how many theories appear, one thing remains unchanged: the chilling image of Elizabeth Short, frozen forever in the morning light of Los Angeles, a symbol of Hollywood's most gruesome mystery, and a question that will likely never be answered. And this was the story of the Black Dahlia, a tale that still chills Hollywood to its core, a mystery that time itself couldn't erase. If this dark chapter from Hollywood's past left you speechless, then make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Hollywood Flashback, where we uncover the forgotten scandals, untold truths, and haunting secrets buried beneath the glitter of old Hollywood. Because here at Hollywood Flashback, every story has two sides: the fame and the shadow it leaves behind.